This is so full. What the fuck? Yum yum yum. Hi everyone, it's Nikki and welcome back to my channel. Or if new here, subscribe. It's in order. Anyway, today I'm making a spread for Shinobu. I'm gonna spoil all of Demon Slayer up to the movie, so click off or mute, I don't know, and I don't care. I've been watching Demon Slayer since it first came out, but I never made a spread for her before, even though she's one of my favorite characters. I hope it's not too late, right? Demon Slayer is basic as fuck, but that doesn't mean it's any less good. I mean, I fucking love Tanjiro. He's adorable and such a hardworking sweetheart. Inosuke's my favorite out of the trio. I just love how silly he is. Nezuko is fucking cute. Zenitsu is Zenitsu. And the fucking animation is literally god level. In all seriousness though, people aren't lying when they say Demon Slayer is carried by its animation, especially if it comes from a loser who likes to hate on popular series. Casual anime enjoyers love the show, while harsh critics hate on it. And I can see that. It follows all the shonen tropes and does absolutely nothing new, but it does those tropes well enough. It's now one of the most popular anime. We get your typical protagonist who goes through battle after battle, training arc after training arc to become stronger. Your typical villains and a friend group who the main character fights alongside with. I watched a bunch of videos on Demon Slayer because I knew Demon Slayer's story is pretty mid, but I was so blinded by hype and emotions that I couldn't really pinpoint the reasons why it's made, but they are there. And most of the time they're obvious. And even after watching all those videos pointing exactly the reasons why Demon Slayer has bad writing, I still like it. I know now exactly why it's supposedly bad, but I still enjoy watching it. It has some really good moments. As long as it doesn't do anything ultra problematic, I don't get the hate it gets. Criticism is not hate, by the way. We need to address that because a lot of people seem to confuse the two. I feel like people are getting tired of dark, complex anime and just want to turn their brains off once in a while. True escapism in anime is not watching Attack on Titan or Banana Fish or Chainsaw Man, because a lot of the themes those anime tackle are pretty grounded to reality. And I don't want to be depressed while escaping reality that is portrayed in those anime. I could just watch the news, bruh. True escapism is brought to you by simpler anime like, again, Demon Slayer. Well, I don't think people are entirely fatigued of dark stories. Just simple, no-stress stories are needed too, and there should be a balance between the two. That's why anime like Spy Family are popular. So really, the hate on Demon Slayer is low-key forced because it does what it's supposed to do well, and the execution through the animation is just amazing. A simple story where you can just enjoy. Liking something simply because you enjoy it is different from liking something because it's critically good. And I think most of the time, it depends on the person's preferences. For example, please don't cancel me on this. I know Sasaki no Miyono is popular and the writing is objectively good, but I found it so boring. I'm sorry, bro. But then again, I'm not the type to enjoy slice of life and romance anime alone. I want some drama and action in my anime, bro. And that just goes to show that disliking an anime doesn't mean it has bad writing, and vice versa. I enjoy Demon Slayer, but the writing is so mid and sometimes even bad. Everyone's definition of good writing is different, so I feel like one of the main reasons people hate on it is because it has a lot of tropes, too much to be exact. I personally have watched a lot of battle shonen anime, but I can overlook those tropes and enjoy the show because it's subjectively good. But same goes with younger people who have maybe little to no complaints about Demon Slayer because they're technically experiencing those tropes for the first time. But for maybe older people or people who have watched probably every battle shonen ever, Demon Slayer to them is definitely mid. That's why I think there's a lot of kids who like Demon Slayer, which is probably their first battle shonen anime. And that's valid. It's not goated, okay? But I think it's unfair to call it overrated when in reality it does a very good job at being good enough, you know? I feel like sometimes when you listen to people's critiques, it kind of ruins your enjoyment of the anime. But if you're open-minded, hear the critics, and that still doesn't change your opinion, just goes to show that you're again open-minded and that you just simply enjoy the anime and you either don't care or wish those flaws are fixed. Either way, you still watch it because it still brings you joy. I used to love Fairy Tail as a kid. It was one of my first anime, arguably not great anime for a 10-year-old, but I loved it. As I grew older, I realized how problematic it was, and I went from enjoying it to borderline hating on it, for very good reasons to be fair. It was a childhood anime though, and I may feel nostalgic towards it, but I can't help but feel really off about it for again, good reasons. I can say the same for a friend of mine. She loves it. She watched the whole series. She knows it's problematic as fuck, but she loves it so much she can ignore those really blatant flaws. I haven't finished Fairy Tail though. I've been wanting to finish the series in years, and I still do. Just not my priority right now, and I barely have the time to watch anime anyway, so fuck me. Obviously, Demon Slayer is not the same. It's nowhere near as problematic as Fairy Tail, but it still gets so much more hate. If a story isn't problematic and does tropes good enough you won't notice, people will still enjoy it. I can say the same for Fairy Tail again. I feel like I keep repeating myself, what the fuck? I love Demon Slayer, but I understand why people criticize it. Sometimes I just want to turn my brain off and watch something hype and simple, and other times I like an anime that make my brain develop more brain cells than it should. And I think that's why Demon Slayer is so popular, because of how simple the story is. Literally everyone and their moms can enjoy it. Obviously animation plays a big role, and that's okay. I want to believe that those who blindly hate on Demon Slayer are the loud minority, and those who criticize it enjoy it but recognize the potential it could have but never truly met. Like, Demon Slayer is a pretty casual experience. The stakes are really high sometimes, but no one's really gonna die, and it's expected of it because, again, Demon Slayer is just that type of anime. Killing of characters does raise the stakes, and a lot of people consider that as good writing, and so do I. But what if I don't want to be the best for once? Okay? Like, I literally didn't even question why Inosuke didn't fucking die when he literally got stabbed on the heart, because I didn't want him to die. It definitely would have made the writing so much better if he actually died, and I would have been left ruined inside, but I'm so glad he didn't. I can't say the same for Shinobu or Rengoku though. God, I miss Rengoku. Cause if the stakes are so high, where people lose limbs here and there and get stabbed on all the vital spots, it feels cheap when they end up surviving. And like, we clearly saw how Rengoku died. Why couldn't Tengen or Inosuke or like Muichiro die? Also, since when can Nezuko heal? What the fuck? That's the inconsistency I'm talking about, y'all, that I only noticed now. Can you all tell I'm only being critical with Demon Slayer now that I'm writing this script and having to think about its flaws? I have been blinded by hype, y'all. Damn. Now I'm starting to dislike Demon Slayer. I don't like that. I'm obviously kidding. I'm still gonna enjoy the hell out of it. I feel kinda like it to be able to enjoy something knowing its many flaws. I remember when the final episode of the Swordsmith arc aired, a lot of people hated the fact that Nezuko could walk under the sun with no problem. Like, I've seen people say they would have preferred it if she died. Like, imagine the kind of character development or regression Tanjiro would have had. Okay, now I'll try to talk about it critically, because emotionally I was crying worried Nezuko would die, and then I cried tears of joy she survived. It was a good writing decision in my opinion that Nezuko survived. Hear me out, okay? Tanjiro was so conflicted on whether he should keep his sister safe or save the villagers, and up until that point, Tanjiro's kindness was his most valuable personality trait, but seeing him unable to choose was one of the most complexity he's had in the show. Ultimately, Nezuko chose for him to save the villagers. He went through all the effort to cure his sister only for her to sacrifice herself. But her surviving not only paid off for Tanjiro, but now Muzan had all the reasons to go after him immediately, and so we get Infinity Castle. Also, people need to stop equating a good complex show to how dark and depressing it is. Like, choose for happiness for once. Jesus Christ. Like, okay, I've seen arguments like how the backstories aren't even shown to the main characters. It's just us, the viewers. The different breathing techniques are literally pointless. It's just for aesthetics. Like, the power system isn't even a power system at all. There's little to none world building in the story. We know the Demon Slayer Corp is a secret society fighting off demons without the government knowing, but that's it. And again, the power system doesn't make sense. But do you all even understand the power system of Jujutsu Kaisen? I thought so. I'm joking, but there's some truth to that. Like, I would have loved to see how each breathing techniques differ from one another, and how some demon slayers use different forms to defeat the specific demon, but we don't really see that. Well, I guess there was this one moment where Tanjiro used thunder breathing to catch up with the demon to cut off his head quickly, but that's it. He was just fast. I'm pretty sure there were a ton of other moments as well where Tanjiro couldn't defeat a demon because he was using water breathing, and so he'd sometimes switch to sun breathing. I'm sure there are many YouTube videos explaining the differences in breathing styles. I've watched those, and that's how I came up with this little segment for the video. In conclusion, I couldn't care less, and that's why I haven't paid much attention to the power system. I'm just here for the flash animation. Sometimes, or maybe most of the time, people criticize because they love the anime so much and would love to see it be better. You know, being critical doesn't automatically mean you hate an anime. A good balance of enjoying an anime and criticizing it is good for you, and I think everyone should adapt to that mindset. Don't just shout out criticism altogether, that makes you boring. But don't criticize and hate on everything that's popular. People will assume you're miserable. And with that being said, I have a problem with how the women of Demon Slayer are written. There's nothing wrong with characters' flaws being their gender. Like, Shinobu hates the fact that she's is so small she can't even slice through a demon, and Mitsuri is so buff and strong, men don't even appreciate her for it. But it rubs me the wrong way when the only two female Hashiras have those storylines. Like, I'm fine with Shinobu, although it is tiring to see women in fiction depicted as small and fragile. At least Shinobu combats that with her other talents. Then again, Inosuke can literally shapeshift, like what the fuck. I still like Shinobu's arc, by the way. And Mitsuri's sole reasoning of becoming a Demon Slayer is so she can fucking find a boyfriend is so insane to me. They're still the only two female Hashiras. Nezuko's role is literally only being a cute little sister. All that was left is some weird infatuation the brother has with his sister, and you've got a classic degenerate anime. And for that, I at least appreciate Demon Slayer for not going that route. That still doesn't change the fact that Nezuko is just cute, and really cute to be fair though. Tamayo is goat though. I have nothing against her character writing. Again, don't get me wrong, I love Mitsuri and Shinobu, and I wouldn't even have brought up this point if there was just one female Hashira who's just like the other Hashiras. Now finding a man and can cut off a demon's head just like the others. I'm just tired of female characters always being portrayed like that in battle shonen anime. Me assuming that that's the issue with Shinobu and Mitsuri would actually be misogynistic of me. Shinobu and Mitsuri are still Hashiras, just as strong as the others. I feel like Demon Slayer to me would be outright misogynistic the moment Nezuko ends up with Zenitsu. I haven't read the manga so far, so I'm good. No other complaints as a woman. Sorry. But it feels like they are treated as women first and not just another human being, you know? It's okay though, I'm done complaining. I love Demon Slayer regardless of its low-key sexist undertones. And again, Mitsuri is strong as fuck. But considering her whole soul motivation of becoming a Demon Slayer is so she could find a man, just feels so icky to me. I do ship her with Obanai though. Now let me talk about Fruits Basket for a bit. Spoiler warning. I loved Toru. Loved. And I love Tanjiro. Love. Present. Still love him. I need to check in with my prejudices. What the fuck? Okay, to be fair though, women are always expected to behave the way Toru does. And I see Tanjiro as a role model for boys watching Demon Slayer, that Tanjiro's behavior should be the standard. When I first watched Fruits Basket, I found it really hard to like Toru, even if I loved the series overall. And I knew why I didn't like her as much as I thought I would. Because she plays into the female lead trope that she's always kind and compassionate and doesn't do anything wrong. But she slowly started to grow on me as I realized little by little the same reason why I love Tanjiro, that we should strive to be as kind as them. Also, it's fiction. Sometimes it's not that deep. But then I dropped the whole series as a whole for reasons. Let me just say that Toru was encouraging a relationship between her minor friend and a much older dude. Like, no, Toru, what the fuck? On the other hand, Tanjiro is a boy. And I'm glad kids watch Demon Slayer because a lot of boys need to start idolizing Tanjiro. But Tanjiro isn't just blindly kind like someone else is. Toru. Tanjiro gets mad at demons too. He's not just sympathetic for the sake of being sympathetic. He hates demons just as much as he sympathizes with them. And his kindness even hinders him sometimes. So no, I can't stand people who say Tanjiro is one-dimensional. He has a great deal of complexity, y'all. But I don't like Zenitsu. Not because he's reasonably scared. I find him pretty funny sometimes. But then I remember how he harasses women. Like how he's so popular. And that's all I'm gonna say about him. But I did really appreciate how he was awake in a battle against an upper moon demon though. I was genuinely proud of him. Infinity Castle kinda saved Zenitsu's character for me. In the movie, I believe that the inconsistencies and the characters having unbelievable plot armor is kind of fixed. Hashiras now are actually dying here and there, and finally feels like the stakes are actually high. I got spoiled by my friend in high school on who died in the Infinity Castle arc, but I was still shocked Shinobu actually died. What the fuck, bruh? The movie was amazing, obviously, because the story was sad, and Kyu is so goated. My favorite introvert for real. But then we get Doma versus Shinobu, and everything goes to shit. I swear to God, I hate Doma for what he did to my girl Shinobu. Okay, now let's talk about the main star of this spread, Shinobu. It's so crazy to me when people say the characters of Demon Slayer basically have zero dimension in their personalities, and I feel like characters like Gyu and Shinobu are the very obvious counter arguments to that. Nezuko Haiki is a very flat character, but that's pretty much it. I love how we've seen Shinobu smile so gently at everyone, no matter the circumstance. Talking with her fellow Demon Slayers, smiles. Teasing the hell out of Gyu, smiles. Beats up a demon, smiles. If I were a demon saying a Demon Slayer smiles so gently at me, I'd just off myself, bro. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that seeing that side of Shinobu just fade as she faces Doma, the demon that killed her sister, chills literally run down my spine, bro. We've always known, at least ever since fucking Tanjiro smelled it with his nose, that Shinobu is just always angry and that she's just masking that emotion with a smile. It always fascinated me, and I'd never imagined we'd actually see Shinobu drop that act. Okay, now hear me out. Shinobu is stronger than Doma. Now I know she died, but had it not been for Doma's incredible regeneration abilities, she would have won. Or if Shinobu were also a demon, easy win for Shinobu, bro. I swear to God, the way she died was so brutal. I didn't even know whether I should have cried or fucking picked my jaw from the floor. Cause what the fuck? I did both, by the way. I also feel like Shinobu didn't die for nothing. Because she put her body through so much demon poison, Doma eating Shinobu will backfire. I haven't read the manga, so please don't spoil me on this one. Let me just theorize with my fellow anime-only Demon Slayer fans. I just won't accept Shinobu dying for nothing. She even had a whole monologue about her being insecure about her lack of strength because of her smaller frame when she's literally a fucking Hashira. Like, she had to work twice as hard than anyone else to compensate for her lack of strength. And her talent in poison was so incredible, she's like basically one of the strongest. It feels very off if she actually died for nothing. Anyway, I love Shinobu and I love her even more now, despite being dead. Jesus fucking Christ, Gyu, Mitsuri, Inosuke, please survive. So to end the video, Demon Slayer is supposed to be simple, lighthearted, and enjoyable, and it does such a good job at doing that. I feel bad for the people who can't watch it because all they can think about are the plot holes and whatnot. People are just missing out, but that doesn't change the fact that it's one of the most popular battle shonen anime out there. Maybe carried by its production quality, but what's wrong with that? So if you hate Demon Slayer, shut up and let other people enjoy it. But we can obviously discuss it respectfully. Nuance, y'all. My favorite word. In Paid Talks anime words, criticism is best paired with nuance. But you know what? I'm not here trying to convince you otherwise. I'm just voicing out my own opinions. Hate on it, defend it, I don't care. That's what a community is for. Just keep it chill. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I put a lot of effort in the script and the spread itself. Can't say I'm particularly proud of the script, but I love how the spread turned out. I love the raffles I added, definitely becoming part of my style, and the little bow as well. And oh my god, I'm so proud of the lettering and the butterflies I added around it. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye bye!